The Napoli fans love him because he plays with his heart, he has skills, but he brings something different.
Al limite dell'area, entra in area, va Kvaratskhelia, doppio dribbling, triplo di destro! Destro pazzesco di Kvaratskhelia!
Kvicha Kvaratskhelia is without a doubt one of the best wingers in the world right now. He conquered Europe last season and mesmerized fans with his insane football talent. The media went crazy for him and he was the brightest prospect in all of Italy. But it wasn't always like this for the young superstar. Until last season, basically nobody knew his name. For his entire career, he was always the underdog from Georgia that no European club ever wanted. This is the story of a Georgian kid who faced countless obstacles and a devastating war to achieve his big dream. Kvicha Kvaratskhelia was born into a football family in the February of 2001. His father was a professional player from Azerbaijan and even played for Azerbaijan's national team. He obviously had a big impact on our young superstar and helped him improve early on. This got him into Dynamo Tivoli's academy at age 12, which is one of the best clubs in all of Georgia. He absolutely shined in their youth teams, so Dynamo Tivoli decided to promote him to the pro team at age 16. He gave his professional debut immediately after, but that was it for now. He only played a total of 95 minutes in the entire season, while at least scoring his first ever professional goal against Sukuda. This would be expected though, as he was still a teenager at the time. Still, unhappy with his playing time, young Kvara joined FC Rustavi at the end of the season. Although his new team wasn't nearly as good as his former club Dynamo Tivoli, he started to get some serious playing time and played nearly every match from June on. His performances got better as well, and he ended his first full professional season with 3 goals and 3 assists. At that point, it was clear that he wasn't just an ordinary player, since he was only 17 years old at the time. His ability to combine his speed with fast dribbling and shooting raised awareness at some bigger clubs. One of them was the Russian giant Lokomotiv Moscow, who signed him on a long deal. This was a great opportunity for him to prove himself on the big stage, which he did. Although he only played 7 matches, he did show off his insane talent. So far so that the manager of Lok Moscow, Yuri Semen, wanted to sign him after his loan, but sadly for him, that deal never came. Just listen to what Yuri Semen said after parting ways with the young Kvaratskhelia. "Losing that extremely talented boy made me cry." Before his loan ended though, he won the Russian Cup with his team, which was the first ever trophy for the young Georgian. As his loan ended, he moved to another Russian club named Rubin Kazan, where I guess you could say he had his first ever prime. He played almost all games while scoring 3 goals and assisting 5 as a 19-year-old in his debut season. This earned him 4 Player of the Month awards and a number 34 spot on the Equipe's Best 50 Young Player list. By looking at his games, it was safe to say that he pretty much dominated the league, but his stats didn't quite hold up, and this would become very important for young Kvaratskhelia very soon, as this happened.
Good morning from the Ukrainian capital, Kiev. Gunfire and explosions have been heard here and in the second city of Kharkiv shortly after the Russian President Vladimir Putin authorized a special military operation.
The war in Ukraine had a big impact on his career since UEFA imposed sanctions against Russian football. Russian clubs weren't allowed to play in international competitions like the Champions League anymore. But there was hope for Kvaratskhelia, as UEFA also allowed players at Russian clubs to terminate their contracts and join a new club mid-season. This seemed like the perfect opportunity for Kvaratskhelia to finally join a big European team. After all, he managed to raise his market value to 16 million euros. But to his disappointment, no European club made a move for him, which is why he ended up at Georgian side Dynamo Batumi for just 6 million euros. It's hard to say why nobody in Europe really cared for him, but his lack of goals might have been the crucial factor. But again, I'm no mind reader. Although this was a slight step back for the young Georgian, he still kept going. He was called up to play for Georgia's national team for the World Cup 2022 qualification matches, where he scored 4 goals. Aside from that, he also improved immensely in the Georgian League and was idolized by the entire country as the big hope for Georgian football. He scored 8 goals and assisted 2 in just 11 league games before leaving the Georgian side just 3 months after he came. But this time, he didn't just move to another Georgian club. This time, he made the big move he wanted for years. After basically no European club cared about him for years, now all of a sudden they were all over him. Clubs like Milan, Juve, Naples and several others were in the race for him, but Juve seemed to come out on top. Apparently he had an agreement with the club, but Juve's sporting director Fabio Paratici left the club for Tottenham Hotspur. Now at Spurs, Paratici still wanted the Georgian, but the deal once again failed last second. In the end, SSC Naples won the race and signed the Georgian talent for 13.3 million euros. So after all this back and forth, Napoli could be proud to have signed one of Europe's brightest talents on an absolute bargain. Although there wasn't too much talk about this transfer, this would change very quickly. Because as it turned out, Kvaratskhelia didn't need much time to adjust to top-flight football. In the course of just one single season, he went from being the kid from Georgia to one of Europe's most elite wingers.
Attenzione, Kvaratskhelia dalla parte opposta, riceve la sfera al limite dell'area, entra in area, va Kvaratskhelia, doppio dribbling, triplo di destro! Destro pazzesco di Kvaratskhelia! Il Napoli è in vantaggio! Un'azione incredibile!
Kvaratskhelia started Napoli speaks for itself. He scored 3 goals in his first 2 matches, which no Napoli player before him was able to do, not even Maradona himself. Obviously, Napoli fans began to realize what they had their hands on and started to love the Georgian wonder kid. So much so that they gave him the nickname Kvaradona, which is a huge honor for him. After all, Maradona is by far the club's greatest legend and even the stadium is named after him. So it's safe to say the pressure was on, but Kvaratskhelia didn't disappoint. He played a vital role in Napoli's historic Serie A run in the 22-23 season as they won with a 16-point lead. Alongside Osimhen, Lozano, Raspadori, he scored 14 goals and assisted 17 that season. In the Champions League, it was more of the same story, as he scored 2 and assisted 4 there as well. All of this brought huge media attention to him and raised his market value to 85 million euros, making him one of the most valuable wingers in the entire world. Aside from all that though, he was described as shy by those around him and more focused on training and improving than on the hype and the glamour. And I have to say, that is probably the best mentality you can have in that position. He ended his season as a champion of the Serie A, but it wasn't all great for Napoli. Their coach Spalletti left the club and so did star defender Min-Jae Kim and attackers Elmas and Lozano. Going into the current season, Napoli weren't able to continue their performances from last season and sit at 7th place right now. Kvaratskhelia though still racked up impressive numbers, scoring 10 goals and assisting 5 in 27 league games so far. Unfortunately, even though he is one of Napoli's best players right now, his salary sits at just 1.67 million per year, which is the 5th lowest at the club. This combined with Napoli's crisis on the pitch makes for some interesting predictions for Kvaratskelia's future.
Many rumors every week on Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. His agent in an interview this week said in a very clear way that he's still discussing with Napoli.
Without a doubt, there are many clubs that would love to sign Kvaratskhelia. Liverpool, PSG, Barcelona and Manchester City being just a few of them. But one of them really sticks out, and it's none other than Real Madrid. Kvaratskhelia has been a fan of them from his childhood on and even once said he would love to win the Champions League with them. Just look what Jamie Carragher said. Right now, he looks like he can go on to achieve anything and play for Real Madrid. You could see him in a Real Madrid shirt next season. I have to admit that this will be a really interesting transfer, but we have to stay realistic. Real Madrid have already got a star ensemble, and it's unclear if Kvaratskhelia would find his place around Bellingham, Vinicius and soon Mbappe as well. Also, Naples have not yet disclosed the Georgian's release clause, which could be vital as his contract doesn't expire until 2027. I personally think that Kvaratskelia's future is not at Napoli, but what do you think? No matter where he will play, his performances so far without a doubt promise a bright future for him. Did I miss anything about Kvicha Kvaratskhelia? Tell me in the comments below. If you like this video, chances are you'll enjoy this one too about the sad career of Samuel MTT. I hope you enjoyed this video and please consider subscribing to my channel where I post football stories like this one weekly.